the last two filming days that we had were arguably like the most intense of the entire film for everybody as a group. Whether it came down to just material in general, what we were doing, what we were shooting, and what we were acting in. And for the crew as well, I mean, the hours were much longer. We decided that we were going to make those last 2 days. You know, these are the big ones, and we're going to get it done. And that was, I think, the things that really stick out to me the most. Ooh, man. I mean, I have a very distinct moment, one of those days. A moment that means a lot to me personally as Noah, just doing that scene. But there is a very specific moment. I think it will speak for itself once you see the movie. Yeah, that one really, I mean, I want to be vague. I don't want to give away anything. But to do on the last day when we did like probably the biggest scene of the entire film, start to finish for us as a group, and the most dynamic for sure. With there's a lot going on there. I mean, those are you read that when you're in pre-production, and then you think like, oh man, how are we gonna do this one? You know, how's this gonna go? And so in the rehearsal process, beforehand, we had like days that we could work on that. Just before cameras were around, we rehearsed it, we went over it, we did the blocking, and then on the day we went over it a few times. But to do those things, to do those scenes like that, you don't have the audience applauding for you after doing all that hard work, but that is film. You know, you're with the crew and the other actors and director and whoever else is there. Those are the people that, you applaud for each other, because you guys did it, and now you can move on and do whatever you need to do next. Emotionally, the final day was definitely, I know, was the most taxing for, I believe, everybody. And at the same time, there were other days, though, where it was more specific and unique to each person, where they would have a day where they knew that this is my day, it's going to be really tough today. There's going to be a lot of emotions that I have to dive into. But then on this one, I think everybody was on the same page of all four of us are going to be together, and this is going to be something that we all really have to commit to. For me personally, I mean, I sat in it. I let it flow. It was hard. It hurt. You have to go into a dark place for all that stuff. Specifically in Max's circumstance, in that final scene. Yeah, I don't know. Putting myself in that position, it takes a toll.
There were a couple of days that we all knew were coming, and it is sort of this final stretch, this climax of the film where everything that the film is building to is coming to fruition, and it just leaves all of us, all of these characters, in such a highly evaluated state. There's high emotions, there's high tension. And so while we were able to be day to day, moment to moment, focused on what scene we were doing right now, we did all have that in the back of our minds of these couple of days that were going to be the final few days of being at this location, where we were just going to have to leave it all in the room, that everything we had sort of been working towards was going to be executed. And I don't think it could have gone much better than it ended up going.
I mean, those scenes, if I remember correctly, were like 8 to 10 pages. They were massive. And I think to chop those up would have been a disservice, and he knew that. So he gave us the opportunity to see those moments out in their entirety, which I think served the story so well, and the actors so well. They were long, they were hard, but it made all the difference in the world. Going in, theoretically in my head, oh wow, yeah, how great, like that's gonna be so great. It's gonna be long, it's gonna, you're telling yourself these things, okay, you better, it's gonna be long, it's gonna be hard. But that's really wonderful. I'm excited have that opportunity. In the moment, you know, as you're going through these emotional, highly peaked emotions over and over and over and over again, it gets incredibly exhausting. Which the little part of method in me is nice because it feeds the character. Then the human part of me is like, oh my God, I don't think I can do another take. Like physically, my body is like, stop doing this to yourself. The nervous system really like gets on high alert. But we keep doing, you know, and we had the communication, the line of communication was open to where if it was too much, hey, can we just take a second? I know we don't have a lot of time. Can we just take 1 second? Hey, I think I only have one more in me. Hey, I can do 2 more. You know, and to have that that open line of communication from actor to director, from actor to DP, from actor to producer is such a beautiful thing. And then to finish those days, I mean, the first day was like, holy hell, my God, I have to do this again tomorrow. It felt so good because it's on both ends. You physically feel so exhausted, but you're on such a high. It's like, wow, we just did that, and you just feel like buzzing.
I thought I was gonna die at the end of the day, honestly. I had, oh my gosh. I was physically exhausted, mentally drained. But I think it kind of worked. I think Graham sneakily did that. I think the day that everything kind of came to fruition, and yeah, I guess it was pretty genius on Graham's part to do that, because all bets were off that day and the pieces just kind of fell down, and we had gotten to a point where you're so exhausted and so tired that you just give up control. I remember we were shooting this hallway scene, and I won't say which hallway scene, but it's a very strenuous scene that I have to repeat over and over again. And by a certain point of it, I wasn't acting anymore. I was really in pain.
I think where we do really well as a production company is we keep it small and we keep everybody super engaged. So, you know, when we hire people, we say, you're not gonna make coffee, you're gonna make a movie.
We can all sit around a dinner table. We are making a film. And I think that's something very special.
I'll probably remember this film for the rest of my filmmaking career. It's one of those things where, like, when you first do something, there's some synapses that happen in your brain. And whenever I'm on set, I was on 2 sets after, those synapses never went away. It's like when you're on a set, you remember back to your first set. I got to be a fly on the wall, right? And being a fly on the wall and seeing the pre-production through production, I get to capture those emotions that people were having, whether it be high stress or whenever there was some certain times where it was nice and calm and people would talk to each other on the crew. I saw relationships being made with each other, and I saw people talk about what their ambitions were. It all came down to, like, seeing the overall arc of the characters to the behind the scenes, right? We got to see them as strangers in the beginning. We got to see them come out as friends and people who knew each other and how to work with each other.
This entire process was very therapeutic for me. We speak in the film about therapy. Some characters are big proponents of it. Others are a little more skeptical. But even the skeptical ones, like John, see the value in art and expression, and that is therapy. And so absolutely working on this film was therapeutic for me. It was cathartic for me. What I hope people take away from it is that. I hope that people maybe have a little bit more appreciation of art and find a way find a way to express themselves with art. I think there are a lot of people in the world that are skeptical of therapy and of art and its use, if it has a use. But I think people would be surprised how different the world would be if we were deprived of art and of getting to work on projects like this. So yeah, this was definitely a therapeutic experience.
The thing I'm going to be able to carry with me throughout life in general, not even just with other roles, but throughout life, is how you need to be open to other people and not feel afraid to ask someone what they've been through, or just to be there for someone in general, because you never know anyone's story. You don't know where people put on a front, and it's a security mechanism. I get it, I do it too, but I think sometimes people just need to let go and break down and hug someone, and that's how I felt about Ari, you know? So I think that's something I'll carry with me, like, just ask the question. Maybe someone just wants to hear, how are you? You know, and like really hear that and let you break it down to them. Let them escape in the moment, and all you do is listen. You don't have to talk, just listen and let them be. I hope that when people watch UNFIX, they walk out of the movie understanding people more. I hope that, because there's still people out there, even in California, who don't agree with homosexuality, who have such a hard time understanding gender identity, cisgender, pansexual, transsexual, all of it, who can't just look at a person and be like, that's who they choose to be, so let them be. I hope people can see this and understand that everyone hurts, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter how well off you think they are, everyone goes through some kind of pain. So give the person the benefit of the doubt and don't judge them, especially if you don't know them or know anything about them. Take it a step further. Maybe your perspective will change if you give people a chance.
My hope for a film like this is that people see it and they understand that there are many facets to conversion therapy, and that they understand that conversion therapy practices affect a lot of people, even people that aren't LGBTQ+. It's very easy, as we see in the film, it's very easy to slip into the mindset of, we gotta fix you and we're gonna do something about it. And conversion therapy, specifically for LGBTQ people, it exists in other forms as well. I mean, it exists for deviant children, right? Where they use the scripture or whatever to try and fix their kid, right? So I think it really shows the parallels between conversion therapy and different kinds of therapy that are aimed at changing someone under religious guise or therapeutic guise. And so my hope is that that really opens the door to more conversations about it, and more conversations about people that may not have had a direct experience in quite the way that we understand it, but it's still just as valid, and their feelings about it are just as valid.
It breaks my heart to know that this is still happening. And as a person of faith and a religious person myself, it breaks my heart to know of these scenarios. And I really hope that this film sheds light on that. And I also hope the audience really enjoys it. It's quite the ride.
I hope that an audience can see this and look at themselves and say, you know what, the things in my personal history and the things that I have done and the things that I am not, you know, the things that have hurt me and the things that have created who I am today don't necessarily have to be defining, and they don't have to be a weight that you always have to carry for the rest of your life. And I think also allowing yourself room for failure. I hope someone can see this and be like, it's okay to mess up. And it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. I mean, the film, there's so much. But yeah, I think that's the big thing for this story, is that you can you can move forward after you've made mistakes or things have hurt you, as corny as that sounds.
Probably my biggest takeaway from making this film is with any movie, with any character, to really dig deep and to understand them, and then have them sort of be a part of you even after the movie, which is strange. To get to such a level of understanding about conversion therapy, about depression, about suicide, about all these things that are so taboo to talk about at times, but to really feel the character in your heart and to really be able to connect with a cast of people that you can trust, and that can be your hopefully lifelong friends afterwards. I mean, Ari was such a physical transformation for me. I had lost something like 20 pounds to play him, and just that kind of level of discipline taught me something about myself that I didn't know that I'd be able to do. Gave me greater empathy for these characters and what they're going through. Yeah, I mean, it just did so much to awaken this other side of me that I didn't really know existed, and to be able to be so fortunate to work with an amazing group of creators in general.
I'm glad that we made this film. I think there were so many challenges when you're making a film to begin with, but to do it during COVID, it was a good feeling to know that we believed in the subject matter enough to take those extra measures to say a pandemic was not going to stop us from making this film, from telling this story.
I will remember the film UNFIX for the rest of my life, hopefully. I mean, it's my first movie, and it's a very impactful and strong movie, and it has a great message behind it. And I got to work with really cool people that I had a lot of fun with, so I don't think I'll ever forget doing this movie. I hope no one else will.
I will remember this experience forever. It was my first feature, and I will never forget it. The relationships I've built on this film, I believe that I will have forever. My friends that I have created, creative bonds, and it goes beyond like Graham and Alex as all of their titles that they have. They are not only that, they are my friends. They are confidants. I feel like I could, if I needed anything, I could call them up. Same with Zane, Damon, Noah, like friends forever. I know that. I can feel it in my heart. I will remember this experience forever.
I think I will remember this project for the rest of my life, really. I think being able to be with such a lovely cast and crew, being able to really have the opportunity to get such a incredibly human role and be able to dig to the deepest core of who that human is, because it's not often that you're able to get this opportunity. It's it's a very, very precious opportunity.
I hope that the topic that we address, the imperative in this story, is told from a new perspective, that the lens that we see this subject matter unfold is new and refreshing, It is an angle that we haven't seen before or fathomed, and it'll open up conversation that we may have kind of put aside, and it will also maybe hook an audience in who were not interested in this topic before, who said, that's not me, that's not my world, it doesn't apply to me. I hope I never have to make another movie during a pandemic, but I'm thankful that we embraced the opportunity to tell a story, and we used all the resources to the best that we could to tell this one. And I hope that all the team members walk away and the actors walk away assured that they made a really important story come true, and that they gave it their 100%. And without them, without their contribution, without their absolute focus and their hard work, that it would never have been possible. It definitely took a team to make the film, and everyone mattered. And I think that we can only be nothing but absolutely grateful that we had that opportunity to work with everybody. It's good storytelling, it's teamwork, it's making a difference, it's the imperative.
I recently had a relative contact me, and he urged I find my authentic self, or warned I would never be happy.
What do you think he was referring to when he said never be happy?
Well, for one, he was a closeted homosexual.
Do I have permission to touch your forearms?
He's a good kid, just give him a chance, all right?
Hey. Yeah, I'm here. Wait, who's at the cafe?
I offered them a place to stay. This is Ari.
Hold on,
this is John and Max.
Yeah, we're gonna
They've
go.
already agreed to a strict lockdown quarantine, okay? Distancing, mask, sanitizer, the works.
You need to tell him. Or I will. We agreed this would be confidential.
I know.
What is your deal?
Huh?
You have to either act on it or move on already.
Jenkins, the Wallenmeyer family, and the son, they can all rot in hell.
Oh, what? No big cash savings?
Oh, just stop.
What did they say? He's a hustler. He had no intention of paying you back. You believe me now?
I don't know.
No one's ever helped me out of a panic attack like that before.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Just how long have you been seeing him?
There's one person on this planet who knows you. It's me.
Every woman's ideal man is a gay guy fixed by good old-fashioned conversion therapy, so...
My God, your father is dead!
$80,000 in therapy debt, and that's the best you got?